RUTO is overachieving. RUTO is overachieving. RUTO is overachieving. Everybody, and welcome once again to Kipao Media. I'm your host, Douglas Ebole. RUTO is overachieving in terms of the globalist agenda. RUTO is doing the most and overachieving as regards the globalist agenda. And why do I say so? Just looking at the period that this government has been in place and looking at what this government has done over this short period ever since they came to power, you can see the agenda that is being thrown out. You can see the agenda that has been pushed forward by this government to actually destroy this country as you know it. It is quoted in many words development. It is quoted in many words achievement. It is quoted in many words advancement. But what exactly is it? It is neither. We have seen a government that is privatizing parastatals. We have seen a government that is taking public land and pushing our initiative of building public housing or building houses that are affordable. They call them affordable housing for the people. We have seen a case whereby people are being deducted funds for this affordable housing. We're seeing a case where people are being deducted funds for healthcare. They've changed the former healthcare into something else that is not as effective as what we used to know as the previous healthcare. We're seeing a government that is very dedicated to the globalist agenda of privatization and globalization. We're seeing a government that is dedicated into ideas that push the globalist agenda and does not really care about the ordinary citizens. And how did we get here? We have to look back from the ICC cases, and we have to look back from the RUTO and Uhuru presidency and vice presidency. We have to go back and look, why did these people get elected into government when we all know they were facing very serious accusations at the ICC? But the people voted them in. They were cleared. They were voted them in. And they got to get into power. Don't you think there were negotiations that were done for them to be let free? Don't you think that there was an agenda to have them to lead the country and push for them to be the leaders in the country so that the agenda can be fulfilled? As we all know, you always need someone who's compromised or someone who's stuck in between a hard rock and a hard place to actually bend themselves so that they can be able to fulfill an agenda or they can be able to be free. And for them to be free, you give them an agenda to fulfill. So I believe the Uhuru presidency And the RUTO presidency is one and the same thing. It has always worked for the globalists and not for the locals, not for Kenyans, not for the citizens. It is an agenda. It always works on an agenda to push the globalist agenda that is always making changes into everything that we knew into something else that we don't know. And this is not going to be beneficial to the people, and the people must revolt, and the people must fight back to make sure that they can be able to have something that they own as a country. They can be able to have something they own as a nation, as a government. You cannot privatize everything, because when the multinationals or the corporate entities that are international, who are the globalists, come in and own the vital instruments or the vital assets of the country, then you're in trouble, because they can do anything. They can increase the prices, they can deny you service, they can do all that. But as a government owning those institutions, the government always goes in to subsidize all these things and also create employment opportunities and development for the people. You cannot afford to privatize this, because privatization is all about capitalism and it's all about profit. We have to be very careful, because this is something that is ongoing and is still going to happen. And I think as a country, we are heading in the wrong direction. We have the wrong leaders. I don't believe in the ideology, and I don't believe in how they do things. And that is my personal opinion. I believe as a country, we need to actually make better choices. We need to move away from party politics. We need to move away from tribal politics. We need to move towards an agenda that is unanimous in the whole country, that leads to development. That is what we need to move at as a country. We don't need to move towards political parties. We don't need to move towards tribalism. We don't need to move towards classism. We need to move towards an agenda and a code that strictly protects the country and advances its people in terms of development and moving forward in good governance and justice and checks and balances. If we don't do that and continue with the tribal politics and the party politics, we are heading nowhere. And we're going to be talking about the same things 20 years from now. Some of us will be gone, dead. Most people are gone. Most people are dead. They thought they would see Vision 2030. They thought they would see development in the 21st century, the early 2000s. There was nothing happening. It was the same game they were playing in the 1980s. They brought it into the 90s. They brought it into the 2000s. Now we're in 2025 and still playing the tribal games, party games, and they're still settling scores right in front of us and trying to make the political environment as violent as possible and dangerous as possible, so that they can demoralize the good Kenyans or the good leaders who want to come up and actually vie for these positions, because they'll be obviously scared for their lives, because they're trying to make this a life and death issue. Violence and murder and killings are happening during elections. This is insane, and this cannot be entertained, and this is not sustainable. So as a country, we need to come together. We need to make a decision. We are all going to be on one agenda as one people, united. And that agenda encompasses all the things that are beneficial to the whole country and every Kenyan, so that we can all benefit and actually use our taxpayers' money and the government resources to make sure that everybody improves and we build our country to what it's supposed to be. Otherwise, failure to do that, we are doomed. This is Kipao Media, and I'm your host, Douglas Ibole. Until we meet again, smoke it.